Using the earnings model, we're going to demonstrate one-way and two-way tables. So first, let's suppose we want to know what happens when we change ROE. What's going to happen to the growth rate and the value of stock? So let's suppose ROE 10%, changing by 2%, all the way down to 22%. And we want to calculate what's going to happen with respect to the growth rate and the value of the stock. So, in order to do this, an E2 and F2, and you can change what these are. So let me actually drag these up. You can do that later on your own. But we're going to have equal E2 will be the growth rate. So there's that reference. And then the value of the stock was from B13. So now I'm going to highlight the data, go to data, what if data table. And because this is outlined as a column, your column input cell is going to reference the ROE. You'll then click OK. And you'll see the different rates here. I should get rid of that one. Oh, okay. So these are the different valuations of the stock. Now notice when the growth rate is higher than the required return, you get a negative A of the stock, and that's meaningless. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. The other way you could have done this table is if I did it kind of across. So if I have here ROE and then 10% across, I'll drag that this time to 20. And then here I have G and the value. And I'll reference those again. If I highlight the table this way and then do data what if, data table, now that it's in a row, the row input cell will now reference this ROE, click OK, and you see get the exact same results. So it just depends on how the table's laid out. Column up and down, row across. If you want to do a two-way table, so let's suppose I have, I'll just see if I can copy this. So suppose I have 10 to 20% that represents, so this will be the ROE. And up top here, across, let's suppose this is the retention ratio. And we'll do this from 40% to 70%. So what I'm going to do here, and this is representative value of the stock. So this will be equal to B13 in that particular row. What I will do is then highlight all of this, do data, what if, data table. The row input cell is the retention ratio. So that is in B8. The column input cell is what we did before with ROE. And then if I click OK, it will generate for me all the different values of stock based on those two changing assumptions. So you can see how sensitive this is. So we have stock prices at 10% that don't really fluctuate a lot, but as the retention ratio gets bigger, the variability increases quite substantially as you go down. And then these obviously don't make any sense, so you could white those out or black those out within your table. But this shows you the value of the stock as the return on equity changes and the retention ratio changes. You can also note in this example at 12% doesn't change, regardless of the retention ratio. So when ROE equals the required return, it's not going to change.